What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? It is Thursday morning. Thank you for waiting. Sorry we're a few minutes late. I had a tech issue, but we're in business. And coming off a big day that I desperately needed. Desperately needed in MLB. Man, went 8-1 on those late games. 2-2 on the morning games, so 10-3 in MLB. Two nice dog lines, and soon I'm going to have the balls to take a -1.5 because those would have been just ridiculous scores at the end of the night with the Rangers and Angels. But feeling good. And man, the playoffs were so exciting last night. So exciting. God, I just loved every second of it. I'm so pumped for what's going on. Just absolutely love it. So shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Let's get to work. We got Chi Archie in the house. Jin Rummy says Jackets plus 205 against Steam Chasers. Yeah, and Brian B. depressed after Lightning loss. Man, that's playoff hockey. That's playoff hockey. There's only one favorite that I wanted to take on the puck line in these first games of the series, and that's the Calgary Flames, and I'll talk about that shortly. But shout out to Jin Rummy. Dennis Garcia in the house has sack blowing the lead yesterday, microcosm of my NBA season. Yeah, I was not. There's some nice plays that I stayed off of, but another day of 4-4, and yesterday was 3-3 in NBA, so not. The Atlanta Hawks hurt me. Doubled up there. The Nets were a very nice, easy spot. The Mavericks plus 14 was great, but then Antoine Seymour had that Knicks team total under, and I said on King's Court, I'm like, that's the play, and I should have jumped on it. Shout out to Joe Rich Ramirez in the house. We got Lucky Lefty who had the Jackets and the Islanders. Oh, yes, that Penguins to win series price, something I'm going to be jumping on. I love it. And yes, the Islanders outplayed the Penguins. I watched the game. They outplayed the Penguins. But if anybody can adjust, it is my man Sid Crosby and his coach, Sully. Dennis Garcia, I love that the guys are coming in, these great horse handicappers, and giving us their long shot of the day. I'm telling you, if you not hammer, you don't need to, you just put a smaller bet on it. But if you take these guys' long shots of the day, every day, all you need to hit is 1 in 10, and you are going to be in profit. So I absolutely love that Dennis Garcia is sharing this, and it's hard work to go through a whole card and pick out your long shot that you like the most. And Dennis Garcia is doing it for us, as we all are, because we work as a team on this show, and everybody puts in all this energy into the show, and I love it so much. And I really want to, just thank them. And thank you, Dennis, for putting in this hard work. So Dennis had a huge long shot yesterday, and it came in second. And he's got one today in race 4, horse 8, Jazar, but it's a smaller upset, but it doesn't matter. We're going to have 15-1s, 18-1s, and 5 to 20-1s, basically. Shout out to Dennis Garcia. We got Jim, we got Vegas Gun, my man Tom Gunn in the house. Tony Soprano also joining us. Been a while. Raul Rogers, Oak, and Philadelphia, Washington over. Yeah, we had a great day. Base Kniff laughing at those bolts. Now, I did a hockey pool. And I have 4 Lightning. I only picked players from the Flames, Lightning, and Penguins. I'm very, very excited. Matt Randall says, the taint is on a heater, Jimmy. It is, Matt Randall. Shout out to you, my friend. We got Allison in the house. We got Jordan J. We got Dave L.A. God, was Dave L.A. right about the Angels? He was also right about I should have waited. Again, I think I get lazy at the end of the day when I just want to get my bets in and hit the bottle, and that was a mistake because I got him on the show at plus 141, bet them out plus 135. Dave L.A. said, wait. Said it's the last game of the night. Brewers are going to get steamed, and I could have got him at plus 150 and a $125 bet that cost me about just under $19 or whatever. But shout out to Dave L.A. Great capper. We got Ron Crawford in the house. Coco Bongo in the house says, what's shaking? Glad to stay away from the Lightning game. Man, hear that. And I did lose on my only play in NHL on the under in the Islanders Rangers game. But I'm going to get it back today. I've already put out my 3 bets. I'm very excited. I think, I just have Jin Rummy in my head all the time. I should have done it last night. But you also need to take a breath sometimes. And that's why I often take Saturdays off. We got Rico Money, Red Girl, born in 94, Dan Kelly, Dat Fire TV, Mr. Ghoster, Kevin Pine, 6-1 overall, and you live bet the Nuggets at 10-1. Oh, attaboy, Kevin. Love that. Demetrius Miller in the house. Ben Sports 24/7. We got Ricky, Bobby, Ron Loft, and there's Antoine Seymour with his Knicks team total under. That was gorgeous. Art Hayes, Joe Rich Ramirez, Deer, Slayer, Ski, and Ski Profit. Ski Profit, beautiful. Ski Profit was on the Mavs. When Ski and I come together on the play, I mean, Ski doesn't need me, and I say that all the time. When Ski's alone on the play, it hits a very high percentage, but when we come together on a play, it hits a very high percentage as well. Kevin Pine leading Bruins Leafs under, and I saw that Freddie Fortune went on the first period under 1.5. I know people are talking unders. I'm not. I think the 6 is a gift. I'm going over. I love it. I think they're going to be goals. And also I hit with Brent Burns over Brock Nelson last night. And those heritage NHL plays and MLB plays are very tricky because if you tie, you lose. So you have to be very, very, very careful who you take. We got Luke Mumwai in the house. We got Tomarino Tomor, top set. My man Elio. And it's Elio's birthday today. A low bagger since day one. I got so much love for you, Elio, and your son, an incredible lyricist, a great rapper, very, very talented artist, and just so much love for you, Elio. Shout out to my man, Elio. It's great seeing these guys, Dennis Garcia, Elio, these guys, Big Ragu, Gokster. We cap all horses together on the weekends, and I have $1,000 in the next Beat the Bag free contest, $1,000 going over the Triple Crown. So I'm so excited to be a part of this. Ty Clinton in the house. There's Big Ragu. There's Dark Kent. Anastas Goji in the house. CT Bays. Brian B. Raven in the desert. Maxwell Smart in business. Demetrios Davos. Melvin Morel. Bada Boom. Sonny Cruz. Benjamin Creasy. Benjamin Creasy being sharp, dude. Roll with this guy. Mally Mal. Jeff Joseph. Jeff Joseph says Wilkins plays for Woodbine. Love seeing that. Jordan J. Dion Davis. Love seeing Dion Davis back in action. Gas Station Sushi. There he is. Another great horse capper. We got Brian B. We got an absolutely great group. Dave L.A. Angels plus 155. Oh, yeah, there he is. Told y'all wait last minute. Wow. First 5 money line. First 5 run line. Minus 144. Wow. You milked that one. I just don't have the confidence to do that at this point. But it's coming. Deer Slayer says Sharks, baby. That made me feel really good. I wish I had the balls to have said they're going to run roughshod over these Knights. Now, it's just one game, but God, my futures were smiling. And I didn't take him in the hockey pool because I was a little uncomfortable. Leroy Flood. We got Ron Crawford. Carlos Perosian. His cheesy balls. We got Astute Chaos. We got PG 00187. Dat Fire TV. Rico Money. What a great group. Jorge, don't play. What a great, great group. Okay, all right. And, not going to lie, feels good coming up my first goddamn winning night of the season to MLB, finally. God damn. It's an empty office today. It's Juan Santa Maria Day here in Costa Rica, and I believe that it's celebrating a saint who came down from the heavens and built the airport. That's what I've been told. So nobody is here in the office. It's just Freddie and I. We can do whatever we please. And I'm so thankful to not be coming off a losing day, especially after I just messed up that Rays White Sox game. You know what? One of the problems with keeping your records and sorry. I gotta stay calm. But I can't help it. Because I finally had a winning day. Okay, gotta stay calm. But I can't help it. Okay, I've got to stay calm. Not only is it Juan Santa Maria Day, but I had a winning day in MLB. Fuck yeah! Okay. Let's get to work. Okay, let's get to work. Let's start with NHL. Man, those playoff games were so exciting. Seeing the Jackets step up and put it in the Lightning's drink hole was so exciting. God, I just loved every second of it. That Islanders game in Nassau Coliseum, they came back to Nassau. It was sold out. They get to see Sid Crosby. Barzal scores that overtime. Well, I mean, Bailey got the overtime winner, but it was all because of Barzal. That play was absolutely gorgeous. But the Penguins will win that series, and I'm going to take them in series at some point soon. It was just a magical, magical night of hockey. The Sharks stepped on the throat of the Knights, who I still hate. I hate the Knights. I hate them. Go to the Stanley Cup final in their first year. I'm a Vancouver Canuck fan. You know how horrifying it's been for me? Ever since we lost the flip for Gilbert Perreault, had the shittiest team in the NHL for 40 years. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful start to the NBA playoffs. All right, Big Ragoo says, scream those lungs clear. Okay. Mal, we just have 3 games. All we have to focus on is MLB cards, so we're going to get there very soon. William Cathcart's also on the under. Everybody's on the under except for me. Okay. Woo! Okay, let's get to work. So, first off, can we pop up the NHL record? Freddie, it is down 1.2 units from my high watermark. My high watermark happened at the very last game of the year for me, that Ducks -1.5, very last game of the season. And there it is. It's a little bit worse than it was. Okay, let's break down these games, and then Maxman said I've been in them lines for Saints Day. Okay. No, this is all natural, man. This is why. You know what, man? Now, yes, I have an alcohol issue. Sure. And maybe before my pneumonia, I smoked a little too much reefer. Sure. But the reason why I love this shit so much is because it makes you feel this way. Capping games and watching them, it makes you feel this way. And that's why I love it so much. You have a huge win. And now, not everybody agrees with me, and I grant that's fine. But I have a huge win, and you know what? I don't need to fuck. I don't need to do drugs. I'm just sitting there pumping my fists, slapping ass, calling people asshole for no reason. That's what this shit does for me. Raven in the Desert says, nights going to the finals was to sell season tickets. Well, it worked. Okay, let's get to work. NHL. And then we're going to hammer the baseball card for the rest of the show. And Babineaux will be joining us. Okay. Leafs at Bruins. Daryl Lyle's also on the under. Everybody is on the under. Except for me. First off, these power plays are elite. And their penalty killing is weak. Leafs are 8th in the league at 21.8%. The Bruins have the 3rd-ranked power play in the league at 25.9%. But imagine if they didn't have all these injuries to defensemen. It would have been even better. Now, the Bruins are 3rd in goals allowed. They're very, very strong. Tom Marino says, I'm on Capitals puck line. Carolina was undervalued most of the season, but they were overvalued in the final month of the season. Very, very interesting. Thompson says, Jimmy, water bottle vodka and horse racing are highlights of my career. Same here, buddy. Same here. And happy birthday, my friend. Tom Marino says, hope he stepped up in bigger games. He's older. He should be strong with the rest. He has stepped up, but let's get to that game next. This is a very, very passionate series. Now, I hate the Bruins, but I hate the Leafs too. I hate the Bruins. You know, they beat us, the Canucks, in the 7-game series for the Cup, and then we lit the city on fire. It was a very sad day. June 15th, 2011. The Bruins' top line of Marchand, Bergeron, and Pasternak combined for 30 points. Now, if Babcock was saying, you know what, we're going to stick Kadri on Bergeron, we're going to have Kadri up against that line, we're going to put together a defensive juggernaut line to beat. He's not. He's saying fire on fire. He's saying Tavares, Marner, and Hyman are going to be going up against Bergeron, Pasternak, and Marchand. That, to me, says goals. Bruins won the series 3-1. Bruins are a deep squad. Now, Kevin Miller out of the lineup. His replacement, John Moore, is out of the lineup. So they're going to decide between who? They're deciding between 2 guys, Stephen Kampfer and Connor Clifton. Sorry, Max. You know what? Come on. William Cathcart says, Jimmy, take a drink in the drink hole, buddy. I need one. Okay. Now, they have a great defensive core. Krug, McAvoy, Chara, Carlo, and Grizzlesick. But at some point, Kampfer and Clifton's going to be out there with who? Brandon Carlo? That fire's on the over, too. Raul Rogers is on the over. Now the guys are coming out. I think that this game goes over. Leafs are fully healthy. The power play's going to be rolling. There's going to be penalties. Marchand's going to be running his mouth. This series is going to be fucking incredible. Incredible. I can't wait to watch it, and I hope both teams fucking lose. All right. So, I'm on the over 6, and I tweeted these plays out already, so I'll just tell you what I got. We'll take a quick look at line movement. I'm on... Here we go. I got Toronto, Boston over 6 at minus 110. And if you wanted that now, you would get better. So people keep betting the under. You could get minus 105 at 5 times. Oh, wait, sorry. I got minus 105 at Heritage. Sorry, I bet it at minus 110. My fault. So I got minus 105. Now, if you're looking for value, I don't know if there is any. I guess the only value would be taking the team that you like to win by more than a goal because it's minus 130 plus 120. If you were going to back the Leafs, you'd want a bigger line than that. So that's what's up on that game. Okay, so now let's move on. Maxwell Smart says Marchand going to lick more men than combined goals and body checks. Man, he gets under people's skin. I love it. John Laxwood says, what's the over-under on Marchand's licks? All right, I still can't laugh. But I can't wait. This stuff just makes me so excited. I mean, I was there. I was in Vegas with 35 friends in Game 7 when the Leafs with Kessel were finally going to exercise their demons and beat the Bruins and win a series. They were up 4-1. And there was 11 and a half minutes left in the game. The girl I was rolling with down there that weekend, she put some money on the Leafs. She's from Toronto. She went for victory shots when they were up 4-1. And I laughed in her face when they lost. All right. Hurricanes, Capitals, Mrazek, Holtby. Tomarino making great calls about Holtby here. Holtby's come on. Holtby is firing right now. He's playing very, very well. He's proven that he can roll in this type of situation. And the Hurricanes, should be bigger dogs. Tomarino's right. Tomarino's right by taking the Capitals, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to start this series by taking the Capitals. We just saw what the Jackets can do. The Hurricanes have no pressure on them whatsoever. In fact, if I was getting a better line, I would take the Hurricanes first period. But at plus 116 or plus 110, no way in the world I would do that. But if I was getting plus 140, I would do that. May 910 says, what up, Jimmy, at work in Alaska, but the whole crew is listening. Let's make some cash. Shout out to our guy, Maine 910, and representing Alaska. God damn, yeah. Much love to all you guys up there. Love it. All right, Hurricanes, Capitals. So Hurricanes are this young, fast, coursey darlings of the NHL. Their power play hasn't been strong because they don't really have that quarterback of the power play at this point. But they're fast. They have size. They're 7th in goals allowed at 2.70. They have penalty killing, 8th in the league at 81.6. And remember, this Capitals power play has kind of gotten worse as the season's gone on. Ovechkin led the league with 51 goals. What a spectacular hockey player. We're lucky that we get to watch him. Holtby 5-0-0 in his last 5 games, 1.60 goals against average, 947 save percentage. They pick up Hagelin and Jensen, and, I guess Hagelin especially. Jensen becomes important because they lost Kepney for the season. And what's going on with Kuznetsov? I mean, he basically was their best player last playoffs when they went to the Cup. And he's been very inconsistent this year. Carolina in the playoffs for the first time since 2009. Rod Brind'Amour was the captain of that team. Capitals expected Game 1 lineup has 1,200 games of playoff experience. Carolina's has just over 300, and that's with their captain, Justin Williams, accounting for 140 of that. Carolina balanced scoring this year, but Aho is a beast. Sebastian Aho is going to be a great player. They also have Teuvo Teravainen, who won a cup with the Blackhawks. Stan Bowman, another huge Stan Bowman mistake. He should be fired and never given a job in hockey again. Who cares who your dad is? Your disappointed father. Carolina went 31-12-2 over the final 45 games. Only the Lightning had a better record over the final 45 games. Carolina's missing Calvin DeHaan, it looks like. Brind'Amour's not sure if he's going to be in the lineup in the playoffs since the first time since 2009. That 2005-06 squad went 52-22-8, went on to win the Cup for them. They went on to win the Cup. And I tell you what I don't want. I do not want the Hurricanes moving on just because they don't have a big enough fan base. And I know it will help their fan base, but man, if they have another barbecue in a park with 400 people to celebrate a Stanley Cup, and the Canucks have never won a Stanley Cup, and the Hurricanes have 400 people in a park eating cheeseburgers to celebrate their Stanley Cup, we lose Game 7, we light the city on fire. Bullshit. But I like their young hockey team. Basekinev says Mrazek going to get toasted. Tom Marino says Carolina was a strong regular season team, but they're very young and they aren't as physical. Ralph Portwando in the house. Okay, so I'm just staying off that. Here we come to the Avalanche Flames. I'm making 2 plays here. I'm taking the Flames minus 1.5, and I'm also taking the over 6. I got the Flames minus 1.5 at plus 140, and I got Calgary, Colorado over 6 at minus 112. Oh, sorry, plus 150. I bet it at plus 140. I got it at plus 150 at 5 dimes, and the Colorado, Calgary over 6 at minus 112. Let's take a quick look at what I would get right now if I jumped on them. Here we go. I would get the Flames minus 1.5, still plus 150 at 5 dimes, and the total is still over 6. Wow, I could have got a minus 110. So again, people are thinking that the playoffs are coming and it's going to be lower scoring. So we will see how that goes, but I don't think so. Flames second in goals per game. Also Flames goaltender, who I think it will be Mike Smith, is very susceptible, although I think he could get hot just like Holtby did last year. We will see. Flames are the only playoff squad that have 5 players with at least 70 points. Johnny Hockey, that's Johnny Goodrow, Sean Monahan, Elias Lindholm, Matthew Tkachuk of the great Tkachuk family, Mark Giordano, won their first conference championship in 29 years. Rantanen will be in the lineup, so it'll be McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog. Those 3 guys scored 106 of the 258 goals that the Avs scored this year. Colorado finished the year strong, but we just saw the Sharks turn it on, and we're going to see the Flames turn it on. All right. Remo says, seems to me Jimmy struggles daily with the fact the Canucks suck. I do struggle daily. All right, so that's my NHL card. Now, the only other thing, and we'll talk about it because we're going to have a little bit more time on the late show, we'll talk about me. I'm probably going to jump on the Pens in-series price, and I will do it again if they lose again. No qualms. Even though they got outplayed, no qualms. All right, now let's go to baseball, and I know I'm coming off a winning day, and you'll still see my horrifying baseball record. It's still horrifying. So all that joy is over. But Freddie, my man, can you hit me up with this baseball record? Well, you won't believe that that's an improvement. It's hard to fathom that could actually be an improvement. But let's not be upset. Let's not dwell on that. Jim, did you go to Killarney? No, I did not go to Killarney. Although I spent a lot of time in the area, played against Killarney in soccer, and yeah, good school. Okay. Yes, you're right, Rod Zawacki. Canucks got Rookie of the Year. Absolutely, that was nice. We talked about all the rookies in Canucks. Okay, let's go to baseball. Drew Daddy says making progress. Okay, let's get to work. Good Alex Malbury says, good God, Jimmy. Yeah, man. Hey, that's one of the problems with accountability. And, there's some things I can give you. And that is, I will always be completely 100% honest. And even if it's horrifying, I will be honest with you. And I will never sell you anything. Ever. Those are the 2 things I can give you. I don't want anything from you other than friendship. And let's cap together. Okay, Marlins, Reds. Let's go. Marlins, Reds. Let's get to sportsbookreview.com. Okay, baseball here. Let's go to money lines and totals, and let's get to work. Oh, I'm also going to bring up, so I got everything ready. I got the opening lineups. I got everything ready, but I also need the Pinnacle team totals. All right. Okay, so we have Lopez Gray. I know you guys already been talking about this game. The total's at 8.5. It opened at BetOnline at minus 110. It's now at minus 124, the over 8.5. So that's a 14-cent move to the over in Lopez versus Gray, and a small move, a 10-cent move at BetOnline towards the Marlins. Yellow Jesus, I did not. Yes, I did. I was on the under. I doubled up on the under, Yellow Jesus, but not on the Jackets money line. And great play. Okay. All right. Let's get to work, you guys. Okay, let's get to work. Okay, thank you for joining us, Tony Soprano and Matt Randall's taint play today, Dodgers minus 1.5. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste that, so we will talk about that when we get to that game. And we have time. We don't need to freak out or worry, and then Babineaux is going to be joining us, and we can go back over these games. There's only 13 games on the card today, and we can do a lot of good work. Okay, let's get to work here. Marlins, Reds. Got the opening day lineup. We'll go over that after we break this down. Marlins, Reds. 70 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour in. Marlins are 1-4 on the road, 3-9 overall. Reds are 3-4 at home. Marlins are hitting 192, 587 OPS versus righties. Reds are hitting even a little bit worse than that, or the same basically, 182, 590 OPS versus righties. Miami Marlins have yet to win a series. They're trying to avoid getting swept for the second time this year. They've lost 3 games in a row and scored 4 runs in those 3 games. Now they're trotting out Pablo Lopez, 4.14 ERA in 10 starts last year. 5 quality starts last season. This year, Lopez has thrown 10 1/3, allowed 12 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 homers, 1 walk, 12 Ks. Going up against Sonny Gray, who's gone 9 1/3 with 8 hits, 3 earned runs, no home runs allowed, 4 walks, 7 Ks. Let's go back to Lopez. Lopez, 1-2 with a 5.27 ERA and 5 career road starts. Astute Chaos says both teams can't hit. Failed to Life says, please no first 5 unders. Can't take those anymore. Base Kniff says, I like this under. Dave LA says, I'm off Marlins versus Reds, but lean Reds first 5 money line and run line. Melvin Morel going under. Robert Cherry says, I'll double down on the Reds under 8.5. Jake Vanagon says, and why is the total so high? Melvin Morel also on the under. Jim Rome says, you bring the gift of nice fitted hats. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Maxwell Smart says that Sonny Gray's mom is loose like a baseball glove. That's interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. She probably has blonde hair and blue eyes, so nothing wrong with that. Okay, Miami's bullpen's been a disaster, especially this series. 10 hits, 12 runs in 5 innings. Steckenrider took the loss on Wednesday. Wai-Yin Chin was horrifying. Tom Reno says idling Cincinnati in the under. Last Friday, Sonny Gray gave up a first-inning single, then retired the next 16 batters. Struck out 7, walked none, 6 2/3. 6 relief innings in this series. Reds have allowed just 3 hits and no runs. So you have to ask yourself, why is he over getting bet? Is it because of a vividness bias with Sonny Gray? You know, at this point, I would say that the Marlins have value. Do I want to take him? You know, I don't know. I don't think I want to take him. So, all right, you know, Christopher Smith says under all day. You know, I don't want to trust Sonny Gray. Born in 94 says, I got the Cliff Avenue youth soccer lock of my life. Man, I like this guy so much. Marlins money line. You know, Benjamin Creasy says, kind of a hunch, but look like 2 regression candidates. Lopez, positive regression. Sonny Gray, negative regression. Sort of a hunch, but kind of like the Marlins. Maybe first 5, considering the bullpen. That is true. Maybe it should just be first 5. I certainly have a lean. Let's pull out the bullpen records. This Marlins bullpen has been horrifying, but if you take out Chen's performance, maybe it's not been that bad. Opponents are hitting 250 with 5.77 ERA against them. Cincinnati's bullpen's been good. I mean, they're allowing 266 average with just 3.35 ERA, and I would expand the stats, but Art Hayes says Marlins money line or first 5. Dave LA says, I actually like Sonny Gray here. Rashad Sutton says, I like Gray in the under. Jin Rummy says Marlins is a value play according to my numbers, but 150 only, not below. And let's see what we get. Thank you, Jin Rummy. I love having Jin Rummy's input here. We need guys to keep us straight, to not get too excited and make bets when it's being steamed, and Jin Rummy is very helpful in that regard. Can't quite get. You can get a plus 148 at Bet Online. And then first 5, plus 135. I guess I don't see enough of a... I guess I just don't see enough of an angle at this point. Let's move on to A's Orioles. A's, but also, sorry, I didn't mean to, we want to go over the confirmed lineups as well. So, with this Miami-Cincinnati game, we got Granderson, Anderson, Walker, Castro, Rojas, Brinson, O'Brien, Chad Wallach catching, Jesse Winker, Joey Votto, Puig, Suarez, Kemp, Peraza, Casali, Iglesias, and Sonny Gray. I don't know. Maxwell Smart says Reds win. They're playing well. All right, let's move on to the next spot. Oakland, Baltimore. So, as one would expect, Oakland's been steamed. Opened up at minus 129 at Bet Online, now minus 151, a 21-cent move there. We go to money lines and totals. Robert Cherry says Oakland money line. And Dave Ellie saying there's better picks. But Matt Randall saying Pablo Lopez is an elite young pitcher. William Cathcart says, don't touch the shithole game. On to the next one. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Brooks Bundy. Total opened at 10. 10. And it's now 8.5. Now, the weather is a big reason for that. 55 Fahrenheit, 11 miles per hour in. But 10. Matt Randall says, I really like the under 8.5 in Cincinnati, Florida. Art Hayes says, fade Bundy. David LA says, I'm on the Orioles first half plus a half and wouldn't be surprised if the Orioles win. Orioles are hitting .226.56 versus righties. Aaron Brooks, 11 innings, 11 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 home runs allowed, 2 walks, 8 Ks. I mean, it's not a stud. Going up against Bundy, 7 in the third, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 home runs, 7 walks, 9 Ks. Bundy can step up at times. Maybe this is the spot. Raven in the Desert saying Orioles plus 1.5 and the under. Well, it's gone down to 8.5. CT Bay says A's 25-5 last. I mean, you mean 2 years, I guess. I'm not sure. Sorry, CT Bays, can you fix that out a bit? Like that, Maxwell Smart. Keep it coming. Wow, Benjamin Creasy hit plus 1730 live on Portland. Wish I bet more than $5. That's still awesome. All right. Born in 94, Richmond Colts basketball lock of the lower mainland. Marlins plus 150. Tomario says Bundy wears down, but he's usually solid early. I'd lean Baltimore at the price. Oakland hit 5 homers yesterday. Trey Mancini keeps rolling. Our Hayes says against Oakland hitters, not a good spot for Bundy. Let's see what we get here. Oh, sorry, that's the bullpens. Let's see what we get here. First 5. Let's go to money lines. Let's go to first 5. God, I love Max shouting anything he wants. Love that energy in this chat. So it's opened at 5 and it went down to 4.5. Slightly juiced to the over. It was over 5 at minus 120. It's now over 4.5 at minus 116 at BetOnline. And the money line has moved a few cents, not nearly as much as the full game. If you took Bundy, Robert Cherry saying Baltimore scores first but loses today. If you took Baltimore on that first, you get plus 136 at 5 dimes. Plus 136, plus 130 at BetOnline. Wow, Data LA saying Bundy might have a no-hitter. I would have no problem backing Bundy first 5. Let's take a look at the lineups. I guess I'd be a little hesitant. Not gonna lie. It's fucking Orioles. We got confirmed lineups here. Mullins, Dwight Smith, VR, Mancini, Ruiz, Nunez, Davis, Severino, Martin. Have you ever seen an uglier lineup in your life? Grossman, Simeon, Piscotty, Davis, Morales, Pinder, Profar, Laureano, and Fegley. I mean, listen, I want action badly. Red Girl saying Bundy is good against Oakland. I want action, but can I just count on this Orioles lineup to hit? Mullins, Dwight Smith, VR, Mancini. You got VR and Mancini 3-4. Ruiz, Nunez, Davis, Severino. That's the question. Noli Knows took the under 5.5 in Carolina, Washington. I hear that, Noli. I mean, we were hammering all those unders when they played in the regular season, so I get why you're taking it here. Maxwell Smart says, Baltimore's been making more money for local strippers, according to my homie Al Mac, whom we love here. Dan Kelly says, so it's A's team total under. All right, let's take a look at the team total unders. Great call, Dan Kelly. Maybe that's the spot. Baseball, MLB, team totals. Let's take a look right now. Here we go. Team totals, Oakland A's. Where is it? Sorry. Okay, Oakland A's, 4.5. That might be it. Sorry, it was giving me decimal odds. 4.5. Under 4.5 at plus 106. I don't even know if I can do that. Matt Randall says Dan Kelly, love it. Wow, Dave LA says, put it this way, Chris David gets a hit today. You know, I want action badly, and I want morning action, but I don't know if I can pull the trigger on the Orioles. I love that you guys can. So, I don't know if I can. So let's just move on to the next game so I'm not just sitting here staring at one game. Okay, Indians, Tigers. Let's look at what we're getting money lines and totals here at sportsbookreview.com. Money lines and totals, full game. Okay. Indians, Tigers, Bieber, Turnbull. So open Indians minus 142, and then money came in on Detroit, which makes total sense. They're playing good baseball right now, and this under is at 7.5. Both pitchers are playing well. Okay, let's go. Sean Glass saying Baltimore is a horrible team. Look at, yeah. I hear that. Okay, let's go. Indians, Tigers, 43 Fahrenheit, breezy. 19 miles per hour in. Wow, that just screams under. Both bullpens are playing very well. Bieber versus Turnbull. Both pitchers have started out the year well. Bieber, 8 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 walks, 11 Ks. We know he's just always around the zone. Spencer Turnbull, 11 innings, 10 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 walks, 15 Ks. Tigers are hitting 181, 580 OPS versus righties. Indians are hitting 181, 580 OPS versus righties. Tigers are hitting 194, 593 OPS versus righties. Detroit won for the 6th time in 7 games Wednesday. I mean, the Tigers were getting hits off Bauer. I watched the game. All but 2 of Detroit's 8 wins have come by 1 or 2 run margins. Shane Green rolling. Spencer Turnbull looked great so far this year. Looked great in that very high-pressure team opener. Jin Remy says Tigers under 8, minus 104. Please don't catch this steam. What are we supposed to do then, Jin Remy? Yeah. And Big Ragu going against everybody on the under in that spot, taking the over. Bieber coming off a strong performance against Toronto on Friday. You know, I mean, what... If we don't see Jim Rummy, now I'll have no excuse moving forward for not jumping on teams the night before. But at this point, I want to take the under, and the only thing to do is take this team under. I mean, that's just the only thing that I can do here. Or not make a play. I guess. So oh my God, Jim Rummy, this total opened at 8.5 at BetOnline. Unbelievable. At BetOnline, this total opened at 8.5. And it lasted there for 27 minutes until it quickly moved down to 8. So a big bet was made. And then it was 8 until 10:48 at night. At 11:30 at night, it became 7.5. Jorge Don't Play's already on the under. So I guess, I'm supposed to not make a play? God, that's hard to do. Oh, man. Jin Rummy sharing is where he gets some of his sites. Thank you, Jin Rummy. It's great stuff. So I guess I don't make the bet. Carlos Baroja on the under 4 first 5. Well, I mean, that's a great find. And I guess I have to be doing that all year. DJ says, Jimmy, help your chest. Take a hot towel, put it against your chest. Do that for like a week. It will cure you right up. I've never put a hot towel on my chest. And when I was in college, if anybody passed out on our couch without a shirt on, I would microwave yogurt. And I would take a bowl of hot yogurt and I would take it out of my hand and I would throw it on their chest. I would wake them up with hot yogurt on their chest. And it has scarred some of my friends for life. But let's stay focused here. I was thinking about hot yogurt on the chest. Okay, let's go to the first 5. 3.5 now, and it's plus money. God, what the hell do I do? Okay, so I guess I stay off. Ugh. All right, Dodgers, Cardinals. Attaboy, Res Mob. Attaboy. I wish I had tripled up on that game. I tried to get them off the first quarter and first half Warriors play. I tried to get them off, but I had Grizz full game. Love hearing that. All right. Let's get to work. Dodgers, Cardinals. So now I need Jin Rummy, come back to me. So you're saying that for the rest of the season, when a situation comes up like this, I just have to stay off. Joe Nisi says the old hot yogurt trick. Okay, I'm trying to stay calm. Ty Clinton says pick your spots, Jimmy. Well, that's a spot I want to take. Okay, all right. Alex Mabry says Cardinals for the sweep. Matt Randall's team play today is Dodgers minus 1.5. Cardinals hitters are 214, 0 homers, 0 RBIs versus Walker. Dodgers are 369, 1 homer, 10 RBIs versus Waka. Dave smashed Waka. Remember, Waka's famous spot was when he went up in the playoffs. What year was that? What year was that? 2013 or something? And he outpitched Kershaw twice. Tormio says, I'm on Dodgers. Walker was inconsistent last start. Dodgers trying to avoid sweep. C-Max says, Dodgers crushed today. Robert Cherry says, I had Memphis yesterday. Yeah, and Joe Anisi, you know what? I had the money line on the show, so we'll talk about that when the playoffs come. So I'm actually, I went 4-4, but I was up 0.3 units. But it was off the board at my book, so I had to take +6. All right, Jin Rummy. And I have to do that all year because even if it goes under 7.5, it'll work for me all year. All right, let's talk Dodgers, Cardinals. You know what? We have a bunch of games left, and I want to talk about these games. But also, I see our man Babineaux here, and why not just bring him in early right now? Then we'll go back, and then we'll just cap the rest of the baseball games together, see what he's on. But there's enough. Let's not just leave a star like Babineaux on the bench. Let's bring him on. So we got Dodgers, Cardinals, Mariners, Royals, Jays, Red Sox. That's the game I really want to talk about. Mets, Braves, Pirates, Cubs, Padres, Diamondbacks. So we still have 7 MLB games to get to. So let's just bring Babineaux in right now. He's probably going to touch on NHL, and then we'll cap those last 7 games together and keep a brisk pace. Babineaux, my man, thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday morning. How are you?
It's one of the greatest 5 days we've got going right now in sports, without a doubt. We've got NHL and NBA playoffs starting, baseball daily. We've got a great UFC event this weekend. We've got the Masters golf. There's a lot to go around, and it's one of the exciting times of the year for sure. Absolutely,
and that NHL opening games of the playoffs was fucking spectacular. Like I'm still buzzing. I'm still buzzing off the Jackets comeback in Tampa. I'm still buzzing off the Sharks putting it in the Knights drink hole. Oh man, I maybe slept 3.5 hours, and instead of waking up tired, I was like, good, fucking good. I loved it. And Babineaux, you're magic for me. The last 6 Thursdays, my NHL ROI, the last 6 Thursdays you joined us, 65%. I mean, that's just ludicrous. 65% up like 20-something units. It was just ridiculous. And 3 of those 6 days, I swept the board. 2 7-0s and 1 6-0. Okay, so you're magic. You're feeling, but we got a lot of work to do here, Babineaux. First off, what are you talking, or what? Anything you want to talk about first? Well, why don't we just open the board to you? But I do need your help. We do need to cap 7 games with the low bag fam. So keep that in mind. What do you want to start talking about?
Yeah, we'll start with the NHL, obviously. It's playoff time, so we'll go to that first. Very interesting night last night. Obviously, you've got Tampa Bay, the prohibitive favorites to not only beat Columbus in the first round, but win the Stanley Cup. Have a 3-0 lead. Not a little guilty of taking their foot off the gas pedal, but don't take anything away from Columbus. They came right after it. They got saves from Bobrovsky in the last 2 periods, which they didn't get in the opening period. That made all the difference in the end, I believe, for that Columbus team. Without a couple of the saves Bobrovsky made, we can rip him and criticize him for the way he played in that first period. But after that, he was absolutely tremendous, allowed the Blue Jackets an opportunity to come back in that game. Of course, you had a great overtime game, Pittsburgh and Islanders. So it was a great night of hockey last night. Overall, Dallas-Nashville, a close game. Vegas-San Jose was chippy, lots to like. As for tonight, I think there's going to be goals in all 3 of these hockey games tonight, to be honest with you. I mean, we had 3 overs and we had, I believe, 2 unders last night. We had actually three overs, 1 under, and 1 push because Dallas-Nashville was 3-2, landed on 5 that total. So that's what I kind of expect in a game 1, Jimmy, with some of these series. I mean, the teams don't tighten it up just yet. Teams are still trying to get that feeling out process, maybe a little looser style of play. We saw some of that last night. I think you're going to see that in some of these games. Toronto-Boston, I totally agree with you. I heard you saying you like that game over the total. It's hard to disagree with that. I think we forget the Boston Bruins are a much better offensive team than they've been in years past. They really are. They've scored 3 goals or more in 9 of their last 10 games. Their power play is much better than it used to be. Toronto defensively still has question marks. I know they have Dermott and Gardner back from injury, a fully healthy, fully intact blue line. Surely that's going to help them a little bit, but I'm still going to have to see them perform well at the defensive end before I can trust them here in terms of defense. On the flip side, you like the Leaf offense. I think Austin Matthews, after a disappointing playoffs last year for them, what do you have, 1 goal in the 7 games against Boston? I think he's really going to have a monster series, be a massive force offensively, 5-on-5 on the power play. I think the Leafs going to score some goals. Boston's going to score some goals. Anderson and Rask down the stretch too. We're talking about 2 goalies, Jimmy, that were not great down the stretch. Now, product of that for the Leafs was their defense wasn't good, but this was not a vintage Tuukka Rask season. You look at his numbers up and down. Those are okay numbers. They're not great. And now you got to face this Toronto team, which can score goals from all 4 lines. And Trevor Moore, I think, is a guy you're going to want to watch out for. He's a 4th-line guy for Toronto, but a guy that I think is going to have an impact on this series. I like the way he's played down the stretch. You look at the recent history between these two teams, more overs than unders, especially here in Boston. It's been definitely more overs than under. 3-1-1 to the over last 5 meetings. Overall, 4-0-2 to the over in the last 6 meetings here at the TD Garden. Between the Leafs and Bruins. So, yeah, I'm on board with you on this one in terms of thinking we're going to see goals tonight in Beantown.
I was surprised, and I just was doing the Larry arms when you said that. I was surprised so many people were on the under. Everybody saying under. I mean,
yeah, I could see it, Jimmy, because Boston is not usually what people think of as an over team in years past. I think they're thinking back to the Claude Julien era of the Boston Bruins when that was a really, really tight defensive team with tremendous goaltending, and they relied on that. If they scored 2-3 goals in a game, they were happy. This is Bruce Cassidy now, and since he's been there, he's let the dogs roam a little bit, so to speak. He hasn't minded playing a little bit up-tempo, playing a little bit more of a be aggressive in the offensive zone type of game. And actually a great quote from Bruce Cassidy earlier this week before this series started. I'm surprised he's gone this route, because this route could be a problem for the Bruins in terms of winning this series. He wants to put as fast a lineup on the ice as possible for this series. He's going to likely scratch David Backes, or at least that's the last I heard. David Backes does not give you anything offensively anymore. He's a plodding guy. He's a slower skater. He sort of drags the pace of the game down when he's out there. There's a chance he's going to be a healthy scratch tonight, and because Cassidy wants a fast team. He wants 4 lines that can all fly, that can all skate and move the puck north-south and get the puck moving in that direction. So that tells me he might be trying to play more of a pace and trade chances game than I think, and that's a concern for me just from a series perspective, because I don't know if you want to play that way against Toronto. I mean, you want to try to bottle them up, try to clog up the neutral zone a little bit with the Leafs, and a little speed game and a trade chance game with them may not be the best recipe for success. I initially liked Boston to win this series, and I still do. But I think Toronto's very live, and if Boston sticks to this, let's fight fire with fire and go fast, and trade chances and try to beat Leafs with speed, that could be playing into the Leafs' hands just a little bit.
Both coaches are saying we're fighting fire with fire, we're fighting speed with speed, offense versus offense. Babcock's saying, look, I'm putting Marner and Tavares and Hyman up against the Bergeron line. Everything to me, all the coaches are, if he had said, listen, we need to figure out how to slow, because that line got 30 points against them in that series last year, 7-game series. If he had said, listen, we need Kadri, we need to put a defensive unit out against them, he's not saying that. So I agree completely. Do you have any looks on the other 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't love the over in Carolina, Washington, but there's a trend that I've been riding with this Washington team, I think going back to the middle part of last season, because I caught onto it early. I saw it was working. I saw it was cashing, and I just went with it. Washington Capitals games over the total on extended rest. What's extended rest? 3 days or more following their last game. The Washington Capitals, their last 21 tries when playing on 3 days or more of rest. And, of course, that is the scheduling scenario for all of these teams going into Game 1. They've all had at least 3 days off following their last game. Washington, in their last 21 games with 3 days rest or more, they are 16-4-1 to the over. And that is significant. That is a significant, percentage in terms of positive expectation wagers, and it makes a lot of sense. And I've noticed this with the Capitals play. This was even back when Barry Trotz was coaching them last year. This was happening with Washington. They'd play higher scoring games with extended rest. I find their defense is a little bit shakier. Obviously goaltending not quite maybe as sharp with the extra time off. And the offense, and they look to, because you haven't played in such a long time, and particularly from the Washington standpoint, they've really looked to push the attack, and they've used their speed. They've been faster to loose pucks. When you're faster to loose pucks, you draw penalties, and I've noticed that. Washington, with the extended rest, they've also been on the power play a lot more in these games than maybe on average. So more power plays equals chance for more goals. It's good news for overbettors. So I could see that in this series. Holtby was great down the stretch. Carolina is Sebastian Aho is going to have to come back to earth here in this series and reestablish the way he played early in the season, because he didn't play great down the stretch, went into a little bit of a drought. They relied on Niederreiter more and Justin Williams and some other guys on this team. Aho's going to have to get going again offensively for them. Two key shutdown defensemen out for this game tonight and possibly the series on both sides. Michael Kempny for Washington, who has been a great defensive defenseman for them. He's out to begin this series. For Carolina, Calvin DeHaan is going to be out for at least game one, maybe the entire series. And if you look at Carolina with and without Calvin DeHaan, with Calvin DeHaan, they've been a much better defensive team. Without him, they've given up some goals. Look at the Philadelphia game, believe it or not, to end the season for Carolina. The regular season was Saturday. They were without DeHaan there. Philadelphia got on the score sheet, had a bunch of chances, bunch of shots, found the back of the net. So I think the DeHaan injury absence, nobody's going to talk about it. It's a big deal for Carolina on the back end. I think it hurts them a little bit defensively going into this series. And you got to love Washington's forwards, Jimmy, do you not? I mean, with Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Backstrom, Oshie, and that's not even talking about the guys that can light it up on the third and fourth line. They have a bunch of these 20-goal scorers on their depth bottom six forwards, the likes of Tom Wilson, Brett Connolly, Jacob Vrana. Lars Eller has come to life lately, and he's shown in the playoffs that he can score for the Capitals. It's a very deep offensive team, and I think Carolina's going to find that out. So, again, it's 5.5. It's not a terrible number. You get the 3-1, 3-2 game, late third period, the net empty. You still got an opportunity to cash that game over the total. So I like that one, over 5.5 with the Canes and the Capitals.
Yeah, interesting look. I mean, I've just been confused with Kuznetsov season, but Vrana has become very close friends with Ovechkin, supposedly, and he's playing great. Vrana's playing great hockey. Hagelin's come in and played well. Ton of depth. Connolly stepped up like we thought he would when he was originally drafted. I mean, it just took him a few years to get rolling. But yeah, I like your look. And Calvin DeHaan, yeah, the word out of Brind'Amour is that they're hopeful to get good enough to get into a game here or there. So that does not sound very good for Calvin DeHaan. And I'm off that game, but I doubled up on Flames -1.5 and the over 6 in the Avalanche Flames game. Could you touch on that, and could you be tight? Because we got to break down some MLB together.
No doubt. We'll go quick through this one. I know you like the over here. This is another one. If I'm betting this total, I'm looking over as well. It's like last night. I actually I'm fearful of unders, Jimmy. I'll tell you why. Because I really loved the Pittsburgh Islander game under the total last night. I actually bet it. I bet more overs than unders, but I like that game under. And the reason I don't like unders is because I never win any. I'm dead serious across all sports. I think I've got like a 10% lifetime percentage with unders. I'm terrible with them. I never win any of them. Last night was proof with the Pittsburgh Islander game. I like an under. I like it a lot, and it still doesn't cash for me. So I'm very fearful of unders. I've just had shit luck with it. It hasn't worked out with them across all sports, but I don't, we got goaltending concerns, and everybody's going to talk about Calgary's goaltending concerns, going into this series, Jimmy. Mike Smith and David Riddick. Mike Smith's an older guy. He's had injuries. He's been inconsistent. Does he have anything left in the tank? David Riddick never started a playoff game, so what do you get from him when he's in there? Nobody's talking about Grubauer, though, for Colorado. I know he was phenomenal down the stretch for Colorado. He was incredible. He's a big reason why Colorado's in the playoffs. But here we go. Here's the thing. We saw this act from Grubauer last year, did we not? We saw him tear it up with Washington late in the regular season. He was fantastic. He was carrying Washington late in the regular season. He gets into the playoffs, first round against Columbus. Terrible. Ugly for Philip Grubauer. So bad he gets pulled. Braden Holtby takes over the net in Game 3 against Columbus, and they never look back from that point on, and they go on to win the Stanley Cup. So Philip Grubauer, his first brief evidence of what he can do in the playoffs last year with Washington was not good at all. So he's got a lot to prove, and I've still got to be convinced he can shut down a Calgary offense, which is among the best in the NHL. Gaudreau, Monahan, Tkachuk, Bennett, we know who they got. Neal, I think, is going to step up, have a much better playoffs after a regular season riddled with injuries, riddled with struggles. I think he's going to look a lot more like he did with Vegas here in the playoffs. I'm with you on the over here, and I wouldn't sell Calgary short here in this series. I think they're the deeper forward team than Colorado. I think they're the deeper blue line than Colorado. I know the Smith and Riddick concerns in net. Let's not overlook Grubauer here and the concerns with him. I know he was phenomenal late in the season, but in the playoffs last year, he urinated on himself. Let's be honest. It was terrible for him in those 2 games against Columbus. He's got something to prove as well.
There's no doubt. But remember the exact same thing we said about the Capitals going into about with the Flames. Exact same situation. They had a Holtby who'd played shitty all year, just like we have with the Flames and Mike Smith. And they had last year it was Grubauer, and for the Flames it's Riddick. I mean, I truly see Mike Smith stepping up in these playoffs. Now, I could be totally wrong, but that's what I see Mike Smith stepping up. Okay, great work. Thank you so much for all that insight in the NHL. Now, I need you, and I brought you in early so we could cap these games together, so I didn't have you sitting on the sidelines. First off, we have this Cardinals-Dodgers game. Matt Randall's already made the Dodgers -1.5. His taint play of the day, 74 Fahrenheit, breezy overcast, very breezy, 20 miles per hour sideways, but out to left. Bueller, 8 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. He's looked bad this year. Waka has looked good, I guess, but 12 walks and 11 2/3. Only one of those walks has come around to score. Dodgers hitting 284, 918 OPS versus righties. Cardinals hitting 244, 790 OPS versus righties. Cardinals have won the first 3 games of this series. They've won 4 consecutive overall. Bueller faced St. Louis twice last season through a combined 15 shutout innings. I'm just not sure how much we should take into consideration with that because he's just not looked very good so far this year. But I mean, I guess if you look at his starts, let's see. Sorry, I have his starts right here. Where is it? So he looked bad in the season opener against the Diamondbacks, 5 runs, 5 hits, 3 innings. But then bounced back with 5 strong against the Rockies. So, I guess I take that back. I mean, he bounced back nicely. And then Waka has been lit up versus the Dodgers ever since he outpitched Kershaw in that series in 2013. And Waka allowed 1 run, 4 at 6 innings against the Brewers. And then the bullpen messed that up and then held the Padres to 1 run, 3 hits, 5 2/3. This is an interesting spot. Pollock is 5 for 10 against Waka. Turner 4 for 11. Corey Seager's 3 for 8. Freese is 7 for 18. So I'm going to just quickly get up these lines here, money lines and totals. In the Cardinals-Dodgers game, we're dealing with the Dodgers has a -137 favorite. Oh, sorry, that's first 5. My fault. We're dealing with the Dodgers as a -137 favorite, and as high as Bovada at 146, as low as 5 times -133. And this total sitting at 8.5, pretty much at even money. But Bono, what's your take here on this Cardinals-Dodgers spot?
Yeah, I mean, from a spot perspective, you'd think you're going to get max focus out of the Dodgers. I mean, they're trying to avoid a 4-game sweep here at the hands of the St. Louis Cardinals. Bueller, to me, has not been on his game just yet. He didn't really get a lot of innings in spring training. That's a little bit of a concern for me. And he really hasn't gotten himself into rhythm, pitching every 5 days. He just hasn't gotten into that kind of groove just yet. On the flip side, I'm not trusting Michael Wacha here. Waka Flocka Flame. I don't know what we're going to get from him here because he's not a guy I trust. And you look at some of these Dodgers here, you're going to have to change the spelling, Wacha to Walka. Michael Waka, as in he's walking too many guys. That's the issue right now with him. You look at some of these guys too. The Dodgers have Turner and Seager. In terms of how they've done in the past against Waka. Turner's hitting 364 against Waka. Seager's hitting 375 against Waka. There's some guys that have some real big-time numbers against Waka, and Waka's got some ugly stats against some of these Dodgers hitters. I'm not in love with what I've seen from the Dodgers offense in this series enough to want to lay this kind of price on the road. I'm not a -140 road chalk kind of guy in Major League Baseball bet when it comes to betting, but I would certainly prefer the Dodgers than the Cardinals in this game.
What do you think about this total at 8.5? And I'm going to keep you brisk pace because we got to keep rolling, but what do you think about the total?
lean over a little bit. But again, the Dodgers offense has been bad in this series. This is the pitcher that it should come to life against, especially when they've had success against Waka in the past. So I'd lean over, but just from a betting standpoint, I'd leans only, no bets.
Interesting. You know what? T. Swade just said, who do you think wins in the Bruins-Leafs game? And now that we've been talking about it, I actually do think the Bruins win, and I might make a move. I'm going to spend the day thinking about it. Okay, let's go on to Mariners-Royals. Another very windy day. 18 miles per hour out, 58 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy. Now we have Mike Leake. And I remember thinking, Mike Leake can only pitch at home. But he looked fine in his road start, and it was not an easy road start. So Mike Leake looks fine so far. 12 in the third, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, 2 walks, 13 Ks. Jorge Lopez, 11 innings, 11 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 4 walks, 8 Ks. We know the Mariners are smashing righties. The Royals are not really hitting righties, but, they do have Whit Merrifield going, just passing George Brett's 30-game hitting streak. Now is 31. Haniger rolling right now. This whole Mariners squad rolling. The Royals have lost 9 straight games, Babineaux. So here we got Seattle, KC. Seattle opening up at -117, and they've been steamed. 23-cent move towards them at BetOnline, now -140. This total is at 9.5 or 10, depending on where you shop. What do you think here, Babineaux? Seattle, KC.
Well, we're not just talking about wind blowing out to center. We're talking about 20-mile-per-hour winds blowing out to center. Like, this is not just like a little breeze. This is a big-time wind and gust that's going out to center field here in this game. So that is a big-time concern with these guys. Mike Leake, to be honest with you, has become more of a ground ball guy, and so is Jorge Lopez, to be honest with you. So maybe they're not going to be impacted by the winds as much as maybe a fly ball pitcher would be. But to me, I got concerned still about Leake. I know Leake has been solid so far, but I still got concerns for him long term. Some of his numbers that I'm seeing, they're kind of more on the lucky side than the good side. And when I see that, it means we might see this guy get hit a little bit in the near future. Lopez, to me, he's a fringe arm as far as I'm concerned. He's not the kind of guy I trust to mow down a red-hot, scorching-hot Seattle Mariners lineup right now. I grabbed the over in this game when it was 9.5. It's up to 10. Actually, there is still a 9.5 out there in a couple of spots. So that's where I'd go over the total in this game.
Over the total, yeah, that does make sense. Benjamin Creasy wondering about the first 5 team total over. And I would like to touch on these late games and just touch on them briefly. But with you here right now, is there anything that you like in Miami, Cincinnati, Oakland, Baltimore, Cleveland, Detroit, the first 3 games on the card today?
Nothing in the afternoon, to be honest. A couple plays at night is what I've got so far. Beautiful,
beautiful. Well, let's talk about this Jays situation that I'm very excited about. Got some very interesting insight from Dave LA about how Eovaldi just destroys this Jays lineup. 0.53 batting average against. I love the way Sanchez looks early. 11 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 home runs allowed, 5 walks, 11 Ks. And we remember this guy being, leading the American League in ERA. And then having the blister issues on top of other injury issues, or just finger-hand issues nonstop. Eovaldi has not looked good this year, but maybe the Blue Jays are the tonic. Jays are hitting 170, 571 OPS versus righties. Red Sox are hitting 218, 638 OPS versus righties. 50 Fahrenheit, very little wind, but blowing in 4 miles an hour, nothing. Red Sox got their championship rings, and the Jays put it in their drink hole. It was great. Eovaldi's not looked good this year. Boston gets Pedroia back. That snapped the win snapped a 4-game losing streak for the Jays. Sanchez is somebody I like, but no smoke on 2. He's been battling this neck injury, so unlikely to have smoke. And then no Maye. So my first instinct was, wow, Toronto sort of has these guys' number. But now I'm thinking first 5 under here. And there's a 5. I'm very close to jumping on this. Very, very close to jumping on this, but I'd like to hear what you have to say first.
You want to lay -190 with the Bruins? Knock yourself out. I'm not doing that. Not even maybe here. If you're betting what ifs and maybes, and maybe this is the day the Boston Red Sox wake up, go for it. I'm not interested. This is a 3-9 baseball team. They haven't hit a lick in a lot of games this season. Their starting pitching's been abysmal. Chris Sale's been awful. Rick Porcello's been awful. You go on down the list. They've had disappointing starts from most of these starters. They're down 10 units for their backers already on this season. There's no way I back Boston here. It's a Toronto or pass game for me. And Sanchez has actually been halfway decent here so far this season. I like Eovaldi, don't get me wrong, but he's another guy that hasn't exactly pitched great here in 2 starts this season for the Red Sox. 9 runs in 10 innings. That's nothing to write home about. Yeah, there's no frickin' way I lay anything with Boston. I don't even want Boston on the run line here. If I'm betting, I'm taking the big dog.
Without a doubt. But the first thing I'm going to move on is the first 5 under. First 5 under plus 102 available at Pinnacle. That's my first play on this card. I've been getting killed so far in the baseball season. Horrifyingly bad, but I'm coming off a big night. Went 8-1 on the late games yesterday. So, and Gin Rummy's keeping me straight, man. Just love having this guy in the chat. Okay, let's keep rolling. So, Mets, Braves, 78 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 12 miles per hour, straight in. Mats versus Gausman. Gausman looked awesome in his first start, and I faded him thinking that because he didn't have a full spring training, that was a huge mistake. This is the beginning of a very tough 10-game road trip for the Mets. We got Dom Ricci in the chat. This guy knows exactly how to handle the Mets at all times. Very, very good eye on the Mets. So, Dom, I'd love to hear what you're saying. Mets, 4-0, 2.75 ERA versus the Braves. Looked good against them, and now he's going for 8 straight starts without getting a decision, which is wild. Conforto hitting very well right now. Freddie Freeman's hit safely in 10 of 11 for the Braves. Dansby Swanson, I'm starting just to love this guy. What a beast. Acuna bounced back from that 4 for 31 start. Gausman 0-2, 4.50 ERA in 3 career meetings against the Mets, but I just love the way he's pitching right now. That was a very impressive first start. He's had some extra rest because of the rain out in Colorado, which he was hoping to pitch in his hometown. Mets, Braves right now. Those are the totals. The total's gone up. Sorry, let me just go to money lines and totals for Mets, Braves. Mets, Braves. So it's, first 5. Sorry, my fault. Don Ricci says, Mets were so much better on the road. Robert Cherry liking the Mets on the money line. The total is at 9, and the Braves are minus 132 favorite. And as we know, this Braves team smashes lefties. They did last year, and this year they're 292, 888 OPS. Mets are hitting 256, 778 OPS for righties. Babineaux, Mets, Braves.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with the upward move in the total, believe it or not, because I think the Braves are going to hit Steven Matz a little bit. Steven Matz is a guy that is going to have to be diligent. I don't like the lack of control he showed in his last start. 4 walks in 5 innings is a concern, and that's a big time problem for me going forward. Into this start, 103 pitches just to get through 5 innings, and I think that's the factor in this game. This is in terms of the starting pitchers. Matz has been pretty decent. Gossman's been really good, actually. His 1 start, but it was against a very light-hitting Miami Marlins team. It's going to be much different against the Mets. Look at the Mets from a totals perspective. They're 9-2 to the over this season, and here's why. Their offense is a lot better. It is much better than it was last season. This is a good lineup so far for the Mets. And these 2 teams, by the way, from a bullpen perspective, they've got concerns. You got a 5.54 ERA bullpen with Atlanta, a 6.51 ERA bullpen with the Mets. And these are 2 guys that don't pitch deep into games. They just don't. Gausman doesn't. Matz doesn't. You're going to see a lot of these struggling bullpens late. So you might get a 2-1, 3-1 score through 4 innings, 5 innings. I think you're going to see a lot of fireworks late because these are 2 bullpens I do not trust. These are 2 good lineups in form right now. This total going up makes sense to me.
Makes sense. And it makes sense to Robert Cherry as well. Very interesting. Makes sense. So I know we've got to go, but I just want to just briefly touch on these last 3 games, especially this one, Joe Musgrove against Jose Quintana. I do not trust Quintana at all. Even against the Pirate squad that's hitting 214 with a 565 OPS for lefties. That's with a tiny sample size. Cubs are smashing righties. They're absolutely smashing righties. Even Hayward is smashing the ball early in the season, and yet they have, a 3-8 record to show for it. The money's coming in on the Buccos. It opened at Cubs minus 146, now minus 131. This total has dropped, and it's dropped because of the rain. 59 Fahrenheit rain and 12 mile per hour sideways. Matt Randall says Cubs all day. CT bases, Pirates moneyline dog of the day. What do you think about this spot? Babineaux, you're muted. Babineaux. Okay, want to bring it back to me here? Bring it back. We'll get.
There we go. We're back. Yeah.
Okay, Babineaux's back.
That.
Okay, go back. Okay, let's see. Babineaux, what are you thinking here?
I like the Pirates. There's no way I lay a price with Chicago right now. Terrible start to the season for them. Quintana got absolutely lit up like a Christmas tree in his first start of the season against the Milwaukee Brewers. He was awful in that game. The one issue is the Pirates' offense is a little sketchy. It is. They haven't had Gregory Polanco all season. Now Corey Dickerson's also on the DL, or the IL now. Sorry, it's injured list now. So their offense is sketchy, and against lefties, they've not been great. Those are the big concerns, but I like Joe Musgrove a lot. I think this guy's a bet-on pitcher, one of a couple on this Pirates rotation. I think he's got the stuff to be pretty good in the starting rotation. He had a great outing against Cincinnati, shut him out in 7 innings in his first start of the season. And look what he did against the Cubs last year with this Pittsburgh team. 1 run over 14 innings of work, or 2 runs over 14 innings of work for Joe Musgrove in 2 starts against the Chicago Cubs. Pittsburgh winning both of those games. Yeah, the Cubs, to me, there's something not right with this team yet. Maybe they figure it out at some point, but until they do, they've been an overvalued commodity from day one. They're down 7 units already on the season, 3-8. Wrong team favored here. Give me the Pirates.
Wow, and I love Musgrove. He's looked awesome this year, so I get it. Jin Rummy is looking at that under 10.5. That's interesting. And you know what? That makes a ton of sense to me, to be honest with you, because I know that Quintana can't be trusted under any circumstances, but maybe against this Bucks lineup he can. And he got it at 10.5, and it's now 9. Great work. Great work, Jin Rummy, getting ahead of things. Okay, I know we got to go, but Padres, Diamondbacks, we're seeing Avila, a guy who's made 1 start above single A, pitching on a spot start for the Padres. But, playing for the Amarillo Sod Poodles. What a gangster jersey that would be. And then Godley's look terrible this year. So that's a tricky spot. Padres, Diamondbacks, that totals at 9. And Padres getting bet. The Diamondbacks opened at -133. They're now -115 at bet online. And then we have John Gray. And I'd really love it if you could, it's Juan Santa Maria Day. Who cares, Freddie? Let's go long today. I'd love it to hear what you think about John Gray starting in San Francisco tonight. 12 2/3, 13 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 walks, 14 Ks. I mean, the Gray Wolf, we thought this guy was a stud. And then these young pitchers have all blossomed in Colorado, and he's not been one of them, to the extent that last year's opening day starter went all the way down they threw him down to AAA for a while last year, and then he didn't pitch well down there. Now he comes in to San Francisco, where he's never pitched well, ever. He's never won in San Francisco. 0-2, 5.48 ERA in 5 career visits. 0-2 with a 6.15 ERA in 6 career starts against the Giants. But then what do you get from Samardzija? Samardzija has not pitched, always pitched okay against Rockies. He's pitched much better at home. Arenado hitting .394 against Samardzija, but 0 home runs. 21 miles per hour out to right center, but we know it's a swirling wind there in Oracle Park. Very interesting game here, and I'd love to hear both of these. So first off, San Diego, Arizona, 20-cent move towards the Padres and a spot starter in Avila. And then Gray Samardzija, a 5-cent move towards the Giants, and the total at 7. At 7, Babineaux. I'd love to hear your take on these 2 games.
Yeah, the Pedro Avila, to me, from what I've read, he's a guy that at least in the minor league level, good command, had swing and miss ability, a guy that could hit mid to high 90s in terms of velocity, was a strikeout guy there. Very good stuff from him. He's got electric stuff potentially. But again, now you're in the major leagues. Let's see if you can handle it well. Zach Godley, actually, believe it or not, I thought he did pitch a little bit better against Boston in his last start. He really had a real tough time before that against the Dodgers. But I thought against Boston there was some improvement from Godley in that start. This is a game where, again, Chase Field, guys, make sure you're paying attention to the roof status for this ballpark on a daily basis in the month of April, because only in the month of April you're going to see this roof open, and it changes the way this ballpark plays from a totals perspective. You got to go to the Chase Diamondbacks website, go to the Chase Field section. They give you the daily roof status. You got to know if it's open or closed if you're going to bet totals in April at Chase Field. That's so important because the ball in that desert heat It's going to travel a lot more when the roof's open than when it's closed. So make sure you're aware of that. But if the roof's closed, particularly if the roof's closed, I kind of like the under. I'd lean that way. But I'm going to sit back and see how Avila goes. Godley was better in his last start. We'll see if he can continue that. So a lean under here, but nothing significant. The other game, Colorado, San Francisco. Boy, two pitchers I can't make heads or tails with. John Gray, we keep thinking he should be better than this. We keep waiting for him to be better than this. He's got the stuff to be better than this, but it just hasn't happened yet for him. I'm not a Samardzija guy at this stage of his career either. This is a guy that struggled. This is a guy that's erratic. He's up and down. I might actually buy low on John Gray here, minus 115 with Colorado in this game. What's there to like about San Francisco? They've had a dreadful start to the season. Their pitching's been a mess. They're hitting. They've not hit with runners in scoring position. Their offense is disappointed. It's been dormant. I'm going to maybe take a chance with Colorado here that John Gray can neutralize what's been a very, very putrid Giants lineup.
That game just feels like. What do you think about taking the over 7 in that game, Rockies Giants?
Yeah, definitely lean over. It's a low number. Colorado can hit Samardzija. I really think they can score some runs in that game. The question is San Francisco going to do anything against Gray? It's the battle of a poor form pitcher versus a poor form lineup. You know, Gray against the Giants lineup. Something's got to give. We'll see if it does. But yeah, totals wise, if I'm betting the total, over or nothing for me.
You know, and Ron Crawford liking that under. We've got to go. There's another show they got to shoot, but you know, these angles I like. These angles I feel. I'm going to jump. I'm going to make two plays here. I'm going to jump on the under in Padres Diamondbacks. I agree, very much agree that Godley is capable of pitching better. And what Ron Crawford said about D-backs offense going to come down to earth with scoring. I think those are both great looks. So I'm going to jump on that. And you know what? I'm going to line shop right now. Babineaux, I know that you've done this already, but while I'm line shopping and we're closing up the show, could you briefly touch again on this Dodgers-Cardinals spot? I'd love to have a move on the early games, but I'm not going to force it. And again, do you think the broom comes out in this spot? And could you just, while I'm line shopping, can you touch on that game and then let people know where they can find you on Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about Walker Buehler and Michael Wacha at the beginning of the segment. It's Dodgers or nothing for me. I think it's trying to avoid a sweep. You would think they're going to put out the best lineup possible. Dave Roberts here in this finale. You don't want to get swept 4 games straight. I don't trust Wacha. Dodgers have good numbers against Wacha in the past. Dodgers are nothing. The price bothers me a bit. You got a team that's struggling in this series offensively. Minus 135 on the road's not usually something I like. But I'll tell you right now, if you need a bet, if you need action on this game, 1:15 Eastern, Dodgers for me. Dodgers for you. And then where can we find you on Twitter, Babineaux? You can find me on Twitter at Babineaux. Every day we'll have opinions, thoughts, plays. We have daily SBR play of the day videos in NHL Stanley Cup playoffs and Major League Baseball throughout the rest of the month. So look forward to that. Saturday, by the way, starting this Saturday, I found this out. I'm looking forward to this. We've been doing college basketball shows the last couple months. Me, Drew Martin, and Maxwell Smart. College basketball season over now. It's going to become an NBA show. Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern. Me and Ski Profit, who has just been unbelievable in the NBA this season, having a historic season with his NBA betting. I'm thrilled to be working with him on that show. I can't wait for it. And I'm into the playoffs. I'm not much of a regular season handicapper and bettor in the NBA, but I'm a big-time playoff bettor. I get into it. I handicap the playoffs every single year. Usually do pretty good with it, and hoping that is the case again this year. So NBA playoff show, Saturdays, me and Ski Profit, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Looking forward to it. Oh, what a show that's going to be. We are huge Ski Profit fans here at Low Bag headquarters. Man, thank you so much for joining us, Babineaux. What a treat it is to roll with you. So I did add 2 baseball plays. I'm on the over 7 at minus 114 Rockies Giants, and I'm on the under 9 at minus 115. And while I got it, I saw it go down to 8.5 at a couple books. So I'm going to bet that immediately. And that's it. And then I'm on the first 5 under. So I don't have a lot of plays in baseball. This often happens to me after a hugely successful day, and I try to beat it, but I also don't want to reach, and Gin Rummy is helping me not reach. Thank you guys so much for joining. Sorry we went long, but it was a really fun show, and we'll be back this afternoon to cap more, and more. So, most importantly, thank you to our guest, Babineaux. Thank you to all the guys in the Low Bag chat that make this show so special, and leche
Hey, Los Bookmakers!